The following program contains graphic images of medical procedures and is intended for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. "16 by 9, the bigger picture."
We're going to show you just how out of control Botox has become.
Close your eyes real tight, squint.
It's a way for some doctors maybe to make some extra money.
It's starting to get into a borderline zone.
I want people to know how dangerous it is.
That's all coming up on 16 by 9. Here's Mary Garofalo.
Good evening and welcome to 16 by 9, the bigger picture. Botox. For millions of people, it represents the fountain of youth in a syringe, a $1.5 billion drug marketed over and over again as safe. But is it? In an exclusive 16 by 9 investigation, we expose some startling information drug companies may not want you to know. And we show you how increased demand for Botox has created a dangerous underground network that may be putting you at risk.
Barb, don't you want to defend yourself?
You're infringing on my rights.
This woman, who clearly wants nothing to do with us, is actually someone admired by a lot of people. So why is she walking away?
Is there a doctor who will be consulting with your patients?
Her name is Barb Sicilioni, and it might have something to do with this undercover video we have of her at her home in Ancaster, Ontario.
Do you work out of here most of the time then? Not most, but a lot.
We'll get back to Barb a little later. But first, we want to talk to you about the phenomenon known as cosmetic Botox. So what is Botox exactly? Well, believe it or not, it all started on the battlefield. Botox is made from botulinum toxin, one of the most toxic substances known to man. It's considered by the military a weapon of bioterrorism. A single gram of crystallized botulinum toxin could kill more than 1 million people. But in smaller, altered doses, Botox becomes a wonder drug, erasing wrinkles.
We're using such tiny doses related to the weight of the patient.
Dr. Jean Carruthers is the founder of Cosmetic Botox. The Vancouver eye doctor figured out 23 years ago that Botox injections could not only erase eye spasms, Botox could also smooth out the skin. Botox is injected into the muscle, paralyzing it and making the skin appear smoother.
It can be used for everything from frown lines to bladder spasms.
Dr. Carruthers never patented the idea, but the drug company Allergan did. They are the makers of Botox, a registered trademark, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. Botox takes in approximately $1.5 billion a year.
I thought I wanted to look my best at the wedding.
Anastasia Hatzisavis used Botox to become a beautiful bride. She loved it so much, she came back with her mom, Debbie.
In the morning when I wake up, my eyes are not puffy.
This is the kind of glowing Botox experience Allergan wants everyone to know about. A drug so wildly popular, more than 5 million injections are administered every year across North America.
It was probably the most horrifying thing that you can experience in life.
But the story you're about to hear is the kind Allergan doesn't want you to know about. Dr. Charla Helton is an obstetrician and ran a hospital in Oklahoma City.
I was completely reassured as a physician that there were no risks at all.
A fellow physician injected her with Botox. Her first few times went without incident, but after a Botox session in 2006, something went terribly wrong.
I progressed to such severe muscle weakness, I couldn't walk more than 2 or 3 steps before I physically couldn't support my weight.
Suddenly, this athletic mother of 2 was struggling to breathe.
I basically couldn't do anything but lay flat in bed just to keep breathing.
She suspected she had botulism, so she called a drug company, Allergan, and spoke to a nurse.
She kind of tried to say that I had a flu-like illness. Well, I explained to her that it was only about 2 or 3 steps till I was completely paralyzed, and my nerve, I was in such severe nerve pain, it felt like somebody was electrocuting me, and she told me that I had a flu-like illness.
Dr. Helton says she lost her health. She could no longer practice medicine or even play with her children, so she filed a lawsuit. Ray Chester represents her.
I want people to know how dangerous it is. I want people to know what Allergan knows about how dangerous it is.
Since 2001, when Botox was approved for use in Canada, there have been approximately 700 complaints about adverse reactions. And according to Chester, in the USA, there are close to 20,000 Botox complaints. And he says Allergan isn't providing enough information about the risk of the drug.
They have a little worksheet that says don't use these words, instead use these words. For example, don't call it a poison, call it a protein. Don't call it deadly, call it temporary. That's my personal favorite.
Allergan denies allegations of misconstruing or misrepresenting the safety profile of its products. But whatever Allergan calls it, Dr. Helton was convinced she had botulism, and a team of top doctors at the U.S. National Institutes of Health confirmed it.
I saw the head of the neuromuscular division there and then about 12 other neurologists. And it was unanimous amongst them that I had botulism.
Would you give us your full name, please?
It's Mitchell F. Bryn.
Despite the diagnosis, Allergan's denials continued. 16 by 9 obtained this deposition video with top Allergan executive Mitchell Bryn on the hot seat.
This Botox doesn't cause botulism.
But you would agree that it's possible that you can get the signs and symptoms of botulism from Botox injections.
I think it's theoretical and possible that you can get some.
The court decided Dr. Helton's symptoms were more than theoretical. Dr. Helton won her case and was awarded a whopping $15 million judgment. Allergan is appealing.
There's absolutely no way that you can say that a cosmetic drug, especially, or something for wrinkles could ever warrant the risk of long-term permanent neurologic injury.
Allergan turned down our request for an interview and instead issued this statement saying in part, the jury in the case found that Botox Cosmetic was not a defective product and did not have defective warnings, and that the scientific evidence and qualified expert testimony in this case established unequivocally that Botox Cosmetic played no role in any symptoms allegedly suffered by Mrs. Helton. Ray Chester says there are plenty of people who disagree. He's currently representing 12 other clients who say they've suffered serious side effects from Botox.
I think it is out of control. I think the money that the manufacturers are making is causing them to have an incentive to just wildly pump the drug.
And we're going to show you just how out of control Botox has become.
Stick around for this story.
I have a legitimate business, which is actually, that's it, perfectly legitimate.
While somebody else is injecting, they lend their name and they reap the rewards. It's preposterous. It shouldn't be happening.
That's all coming up. Welcome back to 16 by 9, the bigger picture.
Botox has exploded from doctors' offices right onto the street. In a 16 by 9 exclusive investigation, we go undercover tonight to expose the people and places that have turned Botox into a substance out of control. Want a massage? How about some Botox on the side? What about a good sweaty workout at the gym? And oh yeah, want some Botox on the side?
Well, I'm thinking about Botox.
Oh, okay.
I've never had anything
My girl's
done.
best friend. No longer diamonds.
Botox may have replaced diamonds as a girl's best friend, but it's become a gem of a problem. Meet Barb Sicilione, a registered nurse. Our hidden camera investigation found her injecting Botox from her home.
Do you work out of here most of the time then? Because
Not most, but a lot.
A 16 by 9 producer went undercover to get Botox from Nurse Barb. She was escorted to this area of the house with an examining table.
what else do you do?
I do fillers.
Our producer was never asked her medical history or even offered a consultation with a doctor. Mandatory procedures when injecting Botox, according to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario. Not everyone can get Botox, and it could even be deadly for some people with certain medical conditions. Watch as our producer tells Nurse Barb something about her medical history Barb should have asked long before she was about to inject her.
I'm pregnant.
Oh, you can't have this. I was going to just get you the consent later.
She was going to get our producer's consent after she injected the Botox, when it might have been too late.
Listen, I'm paying for your time.
Get out of here. I'm cooking supper.
Barb Sicilione works at multiple spa locations as well as her home. She says she's partnered with this physician, Dr. Michael Boucher, a general practitioner. In Canada, only licensed physicians can purchase Botox, except our producer never met with Dr. Boucher or any other doctor. And this might be the reason why.
But yeah, I couldn't do this if he had to be here.
No.
It's too costly.
And money is what it's all about, and it's gotten Barb into trouble in the past. This is what we've learned about Nurse Barb. She was suspended for a month by the Ontario College of Nurses for committing acts of professional misconduct. According to this disciplinary decision obtained by 16 by 9, Barb Sicilione diagnosed and treated 2 clients without their informed consent, acted outside her scope of practice, and used a doctor's name and prescription scripts without informed consent. We caught up with Barb Sicilione at her SUV loaded with Botox supplies. You were disciplined in 2005 and you were actually suspended for doing sort of freelance Botox out of your home. Can you talk to us about that? Why do you continue?
You don't have all the facts about that.
Well, I have your disciplinary decision right here.
Yes, you do, but that's not what was going on.
What was going on then? Can you tell us?
No, I can't.
Why? You were suspended by your own nurses' college because you were doing this without a doctor's consultation. You were doing it without even asking for medical backgrounds, and you still continue to do it. You're doing it out of your home. Is that sanitary? Is that safe? I mean, at one point you were also injecting Botox and making dinner at the same time. Can you be doing that? She may have forgotten what she said to our producer.
Get out of here. I'm cooking supper.
But we still hoped she would give us an explanation. Barb, don't you want to defend yourself?
You're infringing on my rights.
I'm not. I just want to talk to you. Our investigation found staff at spas and even fitness clubs injecting Botox, and doctors more than willing to lend their names and reputations. But 16 by 9 discovered those doctors weren't there physically. At the Bel Air Laser Clinic in Toronto, our producer went in for Botox injections.
Okay, so I'll just get you close up. You can take your time, do what you need to do, and then whenever you're ready.
Although she did fill out a medical history form, there was no doctor's consultation. At the next spa, Skin Vitality, we did get a high-tech doctor's consultation. The doctor on staff, Lori Martin, oversees the Botox procedures, except she was in her office miles away when our producer walked in for Botox.
We do a quick webcam with Dr. Martin, and then I do it. Like, honestly, you should do it because it's going to just give you that nice, soft improvement.
Our producer got a consultation with Dr. Martin over the internet.
You're gonna love it. Absolutely love it. Any health issues that you have?
The consultation only lasted a few minutes, but in a separate phone conversation, Dr. Martin told us this falls within both the legal and ethical guidelines set out by the Ontario College of Physicians and Surgeons. We saw the same thing over and over again. Here at the Premier Fitness Club in Mississauga, Ontario, our producer consulted over Skype with Dr. Robert Slateholm, but he was in his office in Brampton, and there were all kinds of technical problems.
She disappeared. Oh, gosh. No, I think we did.
We contacted Dr. Slateholm. He responded by saying this is a very safe way of doing consultations and treatments. He adds Premier Med Spa uses trained nurses, and every patient is assessed by him.
It's dangerous, and it's not good for patients.
Dr. Corey Torgerson is a respected Toronto plastic surgeon. He says he's shocked at this kind of practice.
It's a way for some doctors maybe to make some extra money while somebody else is injecting. They lend their name and they reap the rewards. It's preposterous, it shouldn't be happening, and it's dangerous for the general public.
According to the College of Physicians and Surgeons, doctors' consultations over the internet are allowed, but it was originally intended to provide necessary medical help for patients in remote areas, not for cosmetic procedures.
It's starting to get into a borderline zone.
Dr. Wayne Carman represents the Canadian Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, and its membership makes up more than half of Canada's plastic surgeons. Would you do it?
I would not do it.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Well, it's unprofessional. It's an unsafe practice. I think the public would suffer. I would be at risk of losing my medical license.
And remember Barb Sicilione and the doctor she says she works with, Dr. Michael Boucher, a doctor whose name is associated with at least 7 spas that we know of? Well, we decided to contact him somewhere we knew we could find him. Skype. Hello?
Hi.
Dr. Boucher?
Yes?
My name's Mary Garofalo. I'm with Global 16 by 9, The Bigger Picture. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, but you're getting me at a bad time.
Well, you know, we spoke to your nurse, Barbara Sicilione. Can you talk to us about supplying her with Botox and also lending your name and reputation to all these spas?
I have a legitimate business, which is, perfect. Actually, that's it, perfectly legitimate. Anyway, as I said to you, I do have to get back to clients right now.
Do you know that she's doing Botox from her home? Do you know that she's injecting Botox without any kind of consultation?
The only time that Barb ever does any injections is with my consultation prior to. I see every single patient.
That's not the case. You've never seen this patient. You've never.
I think you should get your facts straight.
And with that, he disappeared into medical cyberspace. A few days after this call, Dr. Boucher sent 16 by 9 a statement saying the rules for administering Botox were unclear when Sicilione was disciplined by the college. He says his current practice is in full compliance with the policies and rules of the College of Physicians and Surgeons and those of the College of Nurses. And he says the nurse clinician obtains a medical history and treatment information is imparted to the patient verbally and in written format. But again, none of these procedures were followed when our producer met Barb Sicilione. Wait until you see how out of control Botox has really become and how easy it was to buy botulinum toxin without a prescription.
Still to come on 16 by 9.
I don't know what this is, and I don't know kind of how someone can inject it themselves.
Could you imagine somebody watching this and then going out and trying it on their mother or trying it on their wife or their friend?
That's all coming up. We're back with the bigger picture.
The recession, vanity, and the ever-growing pressure to look young have created a perfect storm for the demand of cosmetic Botox. Now, botulinum toxin has gone underground, and the risks people are willing to take to get it cheap are mind-boggling. If you think you've seen it all in this 16 by 9 investigation, the worst is yet to come. And now our story has some important physicians calling for a parliamentary hearing.
Okay, and give me a good smile again.
With Botox injections costing anywhere from $500 and up, the market is ripe for an underground counterfeit network. No need for a prescription. It's as easy as going online. We found this company called Critique. The website had a Calgary address and advertises a do-it-yourself botulinum kit not approved in Canada. But we easily purchased it for $200. No questions asked, no doctor, no medical history, and no restrictions on how much we could buy. Now for me? We got our package, but it came from California, not Calgary. The customs declaration form said beauty product. Inside, there were 3 syringes, a vial with 100 units of botulinum toxin, and this instructional DVD showing you how and where to inject the product.
With a brow lift, you would inject the lateral brow depressors.
I find it shocking that it's not being regulated better.
Toronto dermatologist Lisa Kellett can't believe anyone would take the risk of using this.
I don't know what this is, and the other thing is that, you know, I don't know kind of how someone can inject it themselves. I mean, I don't even inject my own Botox. I have my nurse injects me, and I've been doing it for, 15 years.
We also show the DVD to plastic surgeon Dr. Corey Torgerson.
This is very interesting right here, and he just showed injecting into the nasolabial fold. This is a very, very dangerous area if you're not, an expert. Could you imagine somebody watching this and then going out and trying it on their mother or trying it on their wife or their friend? It's a disaster.
But we discovered something even more suspicious. The DVD shows the doctor using a vial of Botox. Then the video changes, and someone else who's not identifiable uses another product. It took a bit of work, but we found the doctor featured in the DVD. Her name is Dr. Dolores Kent, a plastic surgeon from Beverly Hills. And she had no idea she was a part of this shady business.
This is dangerous. I'm shocked. I can't believe that someone actually had the nerve to splice this video and actually fraudulently use it for their own purposes.
Dr. Kent said the video was stolen from an instructional video she made for doctors' use only. It's a video sold online and at medical conferences.
The fact that you went the distance and actually called us up to ask us instead of just assuming that this was a legitimate video, I couldn't be more grateful to you. I'm just appalled.
We tried tracking the package, but the Calgary address given on the website doesn't exist. So with the help of reporter Tony Tai from our global affiliate in Calgary, we located the man whose name is registered to the company, a Mr. James Purdy.
I don't want to be implicated in it. I have nothing to do with it. Somebody else has something to do with it. My address just happens to pop up with my phone number.
Yeah.
So, but I have nothing to do with it.
Is it somebody from here who moved to California?
Yeah.
And you know who they are, but you can't go any further.
Mr. Purdy wasn't willing to tell 16 by 9 everything he knows, but this company isn't the only one selling botulinum toxin online, and people who purchase it have no idea where the stuff is coming from or even what's in it.
Hello everybody, I am back.
Lori Deleva, seen here in this self-made instruction video, has gotten into a lot of trouble with the law selling botulinum toxin over the internet. She says she has 2,000 customers, and her websites were both registered in Canada. But last June, she agreed to shut them down and pay a $125,000 fine. She did not return any of our phone calls or emails. 16 by 9 took the information to Health Minister Leona Agluka at a recent public appearance. We asked her if she knew Canada was letting in botulinum toxin over the border.
Are you aware of the Botox coming? No, I'm not. There's a lot that goes by the border every day.
Shortly after we revealed the details of our story, Health Canada sent us a statement telling us they are aware of Petite Cosmetics and an investigation is underway. The founder of Botox Cosmetics, Dr. Jean Carruthers, had no idea about the underground network that exists, and she's calling for government intervention.
I think that everyone has to be alarmed by it, and I think that it actually requires probably something like a parliamentary committee to really look into it, to see what the extent of the problem is, and then figure out how to put it right.
As a result of our investigation, the board of directors for the Canadian Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, the organization that represents more than half of Canada's cosmetic plastic surgeons, held an emergency meeting to draft a position statement. The organization plans on sending it to Health Canada and law enforcement.
I think that people have come to the opinion that Botox is no big deal. I think government agencies will watch this program and will realize that it's not something they can just kind of sweep away. I think they're going to have to be forced to address it.
And that's it for us tonight. If you have a story idea, just call us at 1-877-TEL-169 or visit our website at global16by9.com. I'm Mary Garofalo. Thank you for watching, and from all of us here, good night.
If you've got a story idea for 16 by 9, call our tip line. 16 by 9, the bigger picture. That's a wrap.